Hello everyone, I'm very excited to be showing off what's coming up in Star Wars The Old Republic's Update 7.5. This was all recently revealed by the developers, and this update's core feature will be an update to the main storyline, and this update will be called Desperate Defiance. In addition to a continuation of the story, there's also quite a few other features that are being added to the game, so buckle up, we're diving right in. If you wanted to avoid story spoilers, use the chapters below to skip ahead past the new story. While the developers wanted to avoid spoilers, and they don't put the story on the test server, the developers did share that the next part of the story would be coming with Update 7.5. They did say they left a lot of clues, and you may have been able to see or guess the direction of the story if you have a keen eye. The last few updates have all been part of a larger story, with Darth Malgus in the center. Each update has been a chapter, like in a book, not a mechanical chapter like in the game, of the story. Desperate Defiance is the turning point of Sahar Katine's story. At the end of Update 7.4, Sahar reaches out to the player for help to get the holocron from Darth Maul's temple away from Hutta Art, a rogue Mandalorian. Up until this point, Sahar really hasn't had control of her own story. She's been manipulated by her master and the Jedi, by Darth Malgus, by her brother Rakhan, and ultimately by Hutta Art. And this is where she really defines her direction and decides, I can't do this, I want to get this holocron away from Hutta. In the new story, Desperate Defiance, she's going to reach out to the player for guidance and a plan to get this holocron away from Hutta. You get to journey with Sahar as your companion and also get to shape her story a little bit. She is a Padawan, a little wayward, she's just finding her feet. So you have a lot of opportunities to shape her direction and where she's going to go. There's a lot of opportunities also to decide how you would like to treat a young, unprepared character that you're traveling with, and it will change who she will become and how she reacts to different situations, based on if you support her or don't support her and your relationship with Sahar. They did give us this wonderful, super short little teaser trailer between the Jedi Knight character and Sahar.
Come on, Sahar. You've made it all this way. Don't falter now.
I know what I need to do, just...
If you do this, word will get back to Hetta and your brother. They'll know it was you.
I know.
You'll be venturing to Hutta for the Desperate Defiance story, and there will be some new characters including Adi Vonappa, Rakit, and the Hutt Yusindu. Now let's talk about the Hutta Art Modernization. So the developers mentioned that some of the other art modernization's efforts are more visible than others, and Hutta is going to be one of the most noticeable of all. You may have noticed here and there around the game there has been some graphical updates. For example, the waterfalls on Tython, Korriban's textures have gotten a bit of a refresh, and if you've seen the newer Ord Mantell area, it's quite beautiful. So for this Hutta refresh, the new artwork will not only be visible in Minbusa, the new area of Hutta for the story, but also the original Hutta area you're familiar with for the Bounty Hunter and Imperial Agent story. They released a whole bunch of clips of the area, and we can even visit it on the test server, and the difference is quite drastic. While I'm really gonna miss that toxically yellow sky, the changes to the trees, the swamp itself, and the lighting are quite noticeable and should be very interesting for new players to explore, or old players to go back and re-explore. In addition to the new story, there will also be a new event added to the game. To fill in the spring gap for seasonal events in the game, the developers are introducing the Dantooine Spring Abundance Festival, a more casual, laid-back style of event. Players will return to Dantooine to help restore an old farmland and enjoy daily and weekly missions. So we got a chance to go check this out on the test server, and it is a pretty silly event. I got a chance to run all of the quests, and they're all pretty easy, and some of them are just kind of to make you giggle. They're very simple, they're kind of funny. They're not meant to be saving the galaxy style missions. You'll go rescue creatures around the galaxy and bring them to the farm and heal them up. You can dance around a holopole. You'll do some farming as a farming droid. You'll do some quote-unquote fishing. You'll get to go do an Easter egg hunt around the galaxy. That was probably my favorite. And also the silliest one of all, where you bake pies, put them on a table, and then other players have to come sample them. And to go with the new fun silly quests, they also added some new rewards, including 2 new sets of armors, which has a cool feature. One of them has a goggles up and a goggles down version of the helmet, 2 separate items. And there's also some pets, some mounts, and a whole bunch of decorations. By the way, if you get stuck on any of the missions, I personally got lost on 2 of them, I've got a guide up on SWTORista.com with step-by-step instructions by Zach. Next up, if you're not looking to bake pies and become a farmer, there is a more serious set of new quests added to the game, but the reward itself is quite a cute little critter. Players who have completed all of Lane Vizsla's missions can begin the Basilisk Prototype Ventures. This new system involves training and bonding with their very own Basilisk companion named B3S1, aka Bessie. To earn Bessie as a full companion, you need to complete multiple quests and tasks called Ventures. These include training her, so you'll be required to take her out in different specific modes, tank, healer, DPS, for quests. You can only take Bessie out for a limited time until she is your full companion. This is a solo-focused series of quests for solo players who want to earn something to show off to other players. The developers compared it to how players like to show off the wings of the architect item. When you see someone with them, you stop and admire them because they look cool and you know the player has worked hard to get them. However, it doesn't sound like there's a skill component for this reward, so players of all types should be able to earn Bessie and all her upgrades over time. I got a chance to check out Bessie's new venture system on the public test server, and there does seem to be quite a bit to it, so I'm still kind of working out the details. But in short, here's the new venture system, which you can access in your legacy panel. You'll notice that she has a defense module, a combat module, and a support module, and each one can be leveled up and repaired. To upgrade her, you need to complete various objectives or tasks shown on the left-hand panel. For example, the first step for combat systems was to go complete any 2 daily missions on Runa with Bessie out in her DPS stance. A second objective was to have Bessie out and kill 25 enemies of any type while she's in her combat stance, her DPS stance. As I completed those quests, I got a new type of currency called Combat Systems Data and Prototype Data, which I could then use at the terminal to work on repairing Bessie. As this is still on the test server, I don't want to go into too much more detail as I have a suspicion some of it will change over time, but this is meant to be a long-term system and you're meant to upgrade Bessie over time, and there are both limits on how long you can take her out per week, so each data chip that you get is worth an hour of Bessie time, as well as limits on how many of those data currencies that you can earn to turn in to upgrade her and repair her various modules. As always, once this actually comes out, there will be a guide on SWTORista.com. If you're a PvPer, PvP Season 6 will be starting with Update 7.5 and will be called the Great Pirate Hunt, and of course be pirate themed. Again? Question mark? New rewards include the Cosmic Corsair and Astro Marauder armor sets and the text-only R emote. There are some changes on how PvP seasons work going forward. So first off, PvP seasons will be every update like 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, 7.8, rather than on a calendar like they were before. And just so you know, Galactic Seasons are on the 7.41, 7.51, 7.6.1 schedule. In addition to this tiny change, PvP Seasons will now last 16 weeks instead of 12, so 4 months instead of 3, to give you more time to complete them. But PvP Seasons will now have 30 ranks on the track instead of 25, so 5 more levels. And lastly, PvP Seasons track rewards will include additional medpack and adrenals, gross, and a new text-only emote. For those of you who love cosmetics and weren't already enticed by the new ones coming out in the Dantooine event, we're getting a new High Republic inspired Cartel Market set called the Refined Mentors Armor Set, and I believe this is inspired by Avar Chris's outfit from the High Republic, one of her many concept art outfits that you can actually see her wearing on the cover of the High Republic character encyclopedia. Also in the Cartel Market will be the Fallen Master's Beard, which is a new character customization being added, inspired by Balin's skull from Ahsoka. this is the first time a character customization has been added in quite a while. We also found out that the Nar Shadda Nightlife Event that happens every summer will be starting on July 9th this year, and it will include a new item reward called the High Stakes Squadron Helmet, and it has that beautiful rainbow sheen, just like the Nar Shadda Nightlife glasses do, except this time it's on a helmet. As always, the biggest question whenever we talk about a new update is, when will this be out? The developers actually put this out on the test server very shortly after they announced it, so that's a very good sign, and most of it, as far as I can tell, was functioning and visible and everything like that, so they're probably giving players a few weeks to actually test everything and report any issues with the Dantooine event and with the new Basilisk Ventures system. And while we don't have a date, they did clarify that yes, it will be out for spring 2024, so that'll likely be sometime end of May or sometime possibly early June. I hope you enjoyed this really big overview of everything coming up in update 7.5, and if you want to learn even more, you can go to Swtorista.com, where I've got a super full in-depth guide and tons of screenshots. If you want to show your support and help ensure the future of these in-depth guides, visit Swtorista.com/support. And if you want to see more videos like this show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel. As always, may the Force be with you.